Okay, now uh, starting with the ABAP, let's talk about what are the business implications of an ERP before we actually dive into details of ABAP and what roles we will be expected to perform and commit as ABAP consultant. And basically, if we talk about business, the advantages of having a centralized ERP are various than a non-ERP culture-based enterprise. The processes are disconnected in a non-ERP ecosystem. Synchronization is not there, and data islands actually exist in an organization. By data islands means there is a disconnect, a definite and a very apparent disconnect between various departments due to the absence of a synchronized system in place. ERP basically answers that concern, connects and integrates all departments. If we talk about ERP, the databases, of course, those are centralized. We have forms for every department which are standardized, custom made, and improvised as well. So if you talk about VF01, VF02, now these are standard P codes. We'll just go and check. Let me just open up SAP. Then I'll share my screen. Okay. Talk about VF02. This is sales order. And we can change the billing documents which are related to sales order. Point is that we have to understand the process. For example, I'll just pick up any billing document. Now, billing document is a part of sales document. Let's display it, sales order, because you have to bill your customer. Okay. Now, in this, the billing, of course, happens when you have to bill your customer. And here your payer is this customer. This part of the document is called the header. Although this is our first lecture of ABAP, but I'm actually directly speaking about the business process because as an ABAP consultant, it is very essential to know the process because most ABAP consultants struggle at this point to understand the process. Why do we need a billing document? Because billing documents, I'm just giving an example, are part of your sales process. So when a customer buys anything from you, which is this material, okay, the rates, the taxation, the freights, everything will be part of this document. And in SAP, of course, there is a support for document flow. It shows what documents in this process have been created. Okay. Let's see how the document flow of this document is generated. And it is here standard order, which is sales order, then the outbound delivery, and then comes the invoice, and then there is a journal entry. Okay. Right now we are at the invoice level. That's why it's giving the arrow sign over here. And the journal entry means the entry has been posted in finance, but it's not cleared. Cleared means it's not being paid up by the customer. So if I double click this, so from the billing document, I can traverse and go into the finance document. This is how your data islands are connected together and integrated in an ERP. The document number is given. Document number. Okay, now these are the details. If I want to see display the document. So now you understand how or processes. Now this is the finance side. What we were looking at in the previous one was the sales billing side. Okay. So it was a bridge between finance and sales. So sales order has been booked for domestic sales, and the customer is being booked over here for a debit of 100 INR. And domestic sales have been booked for this much amount under this profit center. Okay. Now, even if you don't understand, it's not so very important, but just that we are discussing right now how ABAP consultants should understand the process. So it starts from standard order, goes to outbound delivery when the goods are shipped to the customer, and then the invoice is raised when the goods reach the customer. And after the invoice is raised, after some days, you actually send and raise the billing document for customer to pay, and that creates a journal entry. Okay. Looking at the status overview, let's see that. Posted, posting status, it is already posted in F1. Okay, now let's go ahead. Now, what is the role of ABAP? Oh, okay, fine. MM01, let's also check that. Now, what is MM01? MM01 is part of your material management master data. In materials management, we go for material master, material, create MM01 immediately. Let's say I create this one. Industry sector is mechanical engineering. Material type is finished good. Okay. Select views, organizational levels, AA42, sales org. Okay. Over here, I'm just creating a material for the sake of understanding. Why? Because now these fields basically are related to business. What business inventory and purchasing department? They will, of course, need these fields. So we have to think in that way. Because ERP is basically connected with every department, and if we are into a document or a screen, we can call that document a screen as well. If that screen is related to a particular department like inventory and purchase, then of course, these fields will have a business significance, and we have to understand that significance. That is the role of ABAP. Okay. Wait unit is species, save for it. 03 and sales unit. Okay. Sales of 2. Okay. Sales general plan. So as an ABAP consultant, you should know how these processes actually work. So whenever you are executing your role, MRP type ED, as an ABAP consultant, you will know how front-end activity are working. Okay, and why these fields, the why behind these fields is also very important. MRP2. Now, what is MRP? MRP is material requirements planning. This is for production planning. So from the inventory or purchase screen, I'm also taking care of production requirements. Okay. This is how you actually develop understanding for the process. And that's how that what actually makes an ABAP consultant more equipped and ready. Availability check, KP, MRP4, 2, work scheduling, plant data storage, Okay, plant data storage 2, accounting 1, valuation class. Now, what is valuation class? If you want to understand, even if, I mean, this is not relevant here right now, but let me just add to your knowledge. Now, valuation class is basically you're creating a material, this is a finished good. Now, this finished good has to report whenever it is added or consumed or shipped. Okay, something should be recording this materials movement and treatment and consumption in the organization, within the organization, and within and outside the organization when it is on route to the customer. So that is captured by valuation class, which updates the GL accounts in FI. Okay, counting 2, enter. Okay, cost estimate. Rest everything is okay. If I try to save it. Okay, required field, we need some settings for this transaction. That's why it's asking for another field that is not, that's hidden over here, but we'll have to see that. Okay. But anyways, I just wanted to give you an understanding. Okay, so what is the role of ABAP? I'll come back to Mara PBRK these tables, because what we were actually doing was the front end. What we'll be doing is we'll be working with tables at the back end. Okay. The role of ABAP is to make changes to repository, individual object change, um, changes that are possible in variety of ways, custom development, enhancements, modification. Okay.